Good evening. It's been quite a day today with all the freezing rain and snow and stuff. I'm glad you guys stayed in and were safe today. I'm sorry we had to cancel church. Anyway, I thought I'd take a couple of minutes and just bring you a short little word here regarding today and the message I had for you, and I will just push that forward till next Sunday. Last Sunday we talked about coming before the Lord and asking Him for things that He would have you let go of in order to be participate in this 20 days of fasting and prayer that we're into right now. So that being said, um, I just want to remind you from Daniel chapter 1, when Daniel came to the place and he made a determination he wasn't going to let what was happening in and around him going to be the defining factor for his relationship with God. See, that's the part that people don't understand when they talk about defiling. Defilement is something that um, causes a break or a riff in your relationship with God. And that's not necessarily from God's standpoint, but it's our standpoint to Him. Defilement separates us, ourselves, from God. It's not that God distanced Himself specifically from us. And so here's Daniel, and that was his choice. And I think as believers, that was a place where we really need to take stock in somebody who was an example for us to be able to look at and see that this is the way he approached things. He approached it from the standpoint of saying, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause my relationship with God to diminish in any way. In fact, I want it to grow. And so he said, I don't want there to be anything that we eat or we do or we act in this new environment that we're in that's going to cause a hiccup or a strain in my relationship with God. So he determined he wouldn't defile himself. He determined that there was nothing going to be in between him and the Lord, and that he was going to do everything in his power to make sure that he aligned himself with whatever he felt was what God wanted him to do. And it paid great dividends for him and for his three companions. That's the part that gets lost in the translation sometimes, is that we don't understand that, the things we do, it's not that we're going to send us to hell specifically. The things we do cause there to be an issue between us and to God. Romans chapter 8 says that there's nothing going to separate us from His love, but we can separate ourselves from His love by distancing or pushing away or, um, participating in things that cause our relationship to be strained. And it's not that God steps away, it's that we step away. And we pull ourselves back, and we put the restraining up and keep God from coming close. And I think that during this time of year, especially with what we're going on right now in our country, with the inauguration going to be taking place in, what is it, a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, that we really need to set ourselves and our minds on what is it, God, that you're trying to tell us that you want us to do or want to do in this year, and what is there maybe in each of our lives. And it's probably going to be different in all of our lives, but what is it in each of our lives that is keeping us from being close? And it's straining my relationship with you. It's causing me not to reach out and not to try to be close to you, Lord. It's not that you've moved, it's that I've moved. And I know that you're everywhere, God, but I know that I've distanced myself in relationship. And that being said, I think that's the place that we want to take our focus and we want to take our stand. Remember, God, first and foremost, when He was trying to help the children of Israel understand relationship, He told them to teach their children something specific. The first and foremost thing He did, and this is in Deuteronomy chapter 6, He said, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength. He didn't leave anything out. He said, love God with every fiber of your being. Don't let it be something that's just, you try to fill in the blanks or check off the little boxes there, and that makes your relationship with God good. But love Him with everything that's within you, because if you love someone, you will do things for love that you won't do for any other reason. And I share that with you today as an encouraging word. I hope that you will take this to heart. You'll take that first chapter of Daniel and read it again. Read what we talked about last week. and really understand. And then as you approach God, really ask Him, God, what is it that this year holds for us, that and holds for me specifically, that you're saying to me, I want this, you to set this aside for me. And during the time that you would normally participating in that behavior or that activity, that you would um, consider yourself or put yourself to prayer, and even some times of fasting where you just take yourself out of, whatever it is. You just set it aside and give it to the Lord. Really set your heart to seek Him. Seek Him while He may be found. And I know that He's always there. But here's the picture. You know, again, it falls on our shoulders. If we're not seeking God, we'll never find Him. He's there, but if you don't look for Him, you're going to walk right past Him. You're going to spend your whole life. And how many times have you heard people say that they come to Christ and they said, man, if I would have done this years ago. And really they've danced around it, they walked around Him in relationship with Him, and really haven't given themselves over to really trusting Him. So here it is, folks. Starting in 2017, God loves you desperately. Like I tell you, He loved you so much He couldn't stand to live without you. He loves you just like you are, not like you should be, because no one will ever be like they should be. He's not angry with you. He's not mad at you. He's not looking for a reason to punish you or to cast you into hell. If that were the reason, He would have never sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross for us, because none of us fit that perfect bill. One of these days we will be complete, and that's where perfection takes place, and we'll be just like He wants us to be. But until that day, we got to struggle in these mud huts that we wear, these earth suits that we have, and go through all of the things we have to go through, continually reaching out and trusting Him, all the while loving Him with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our strength. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thanks.